Hey guys, so I'm really excited for you to see this video on my fade and braid service. So this is Jordan. He's a new client and he hit me up on Instagram before he came in explaining, what he wanted to get done, which was originally going to be like a two-strand twist and like a very, very low, like undercut, like pretty much just a neck taper. When he came in, I told him, we had to talk about it more when you come in. I could really see it. So he's in and we did the consultation. And when I saw like the length that he was working with on the sides to the top, I told him, I wouldn't recommend doing a two-strand twist because the lengths are so different that it just won't last you that long. I want to give you something that will really last you at least a few weeks. I told him we could do braids. However, if we combine both of the lengths, it's probably going to only last you like a week or two because I can tuck the short pieces in as best as I can, but it's inevitable that it will just kind of stick out over time. I was telling him, you have so much hair that I think that we should do like a very low undercut on the back and the sides. Just something very, very low, just enough to give him like a taper. And, he has so much length to work with on top and so much hair in general that he would it would be the best option for him. So he agreed, and here I am just draping him up for the service, getting it ready. So because we're doing the undercut and leaving most of the length on top, I, put in the sectioning, and I went over it a few times to make sure it was as close to perfect as possible. And I gave him the mirror so that I could show him and explain to him, all right, everything, that's not clipped up will be in the undercut, and it's still a pretty low undercut, and everything that's in the top will be styled. And he agreed with the sectioning and he liked it. So then after I spin him around, we proceed with the service. So in order to not add too much of the bottom part into the top, I just decided to go in into deep bulk so that way I wouldn't mix up the sections. So I went in with my number 2 guard and the lever was all the way closed. And then I just go with the grain of the hair, and we do that all throughout the bottom section. So after that, we're going to move on to the shampoo. So we're just wetting down the hair. Before you do that, you always test the temperature, make sure it's not too hot or not too cold. And then I use a peppermint infused shampoo on him. Sometimes you might need to wet it down just to get it to lather a little bit more. So that's why I did that. And then we're really getting in with our fingertips, our fingernails, are really scrubbing his scalp. I shampoo twice. And then we are rinsing all of that out, preparing it for the next step, which is like a deep conditioning mask that I will put all over the ends and work it on the roots and the scalp too. And then I will grab a wide tooth comb and just comb it through. Make sure it's distributed nice and evenly. And then I'm going to go in and give him a scalp massage after that. Just so that he could really relax and get the full experience. I go in and do little temple massage. They really like that. Get around the hairline real good. This just kind of elevates the service and takes it to the next level. Everyone loves a good scalp massage too. You can't go wrong with that. So here I am putting a leave-in conditioner in his hair to hydrate it and to prep it. Comb it through with the wide tooth comb. Make sure it's distributed and coated nice and evenly throughout the hair strands. So then when I'm done combing up the hair, I'm going to divide it into 3 sections, from the middle to the crown of the head, and then from the crown to the ear. That is your front left section. So then you're going to clip it out the way. And then since you already did that section, you just mirror it on the other side. So use that as your guide, and then bring it from the crown to the opposite ear. Try to get it as clean as you can, but it doesn't have to be perfect since this is just for the blowout. And then you're going to clip it out of the way. And then I always start with my back section, and I put heat protectant on every single section to prevent heat damage on the hair. And then I blow out the ends first with my comb attachment. Get it as smooth and as dry as I can. And then I hit the roots last, and then you do that in the front 2 sections as well. And then here I am just parting his hair in the middle. I spend a minute on my parts, like just to get it super clean and super neat. Go in the front just to double check. And then, you do it from like the front of the head to the crown. And then same thing as I did for the blow dry. But, you're just going to perfect that parting a little bit more. Clip it out the way. Same thing on the other side. It's super easy. You just mirror it. And then you can just go in and clean it up a little bit more. Get it as neat as you possibly can. And then we're going to clip that out of the way as well. I always keep my clips on my pockets too, or an article of clothing, just so that it's like easy, So I just wanted to show you guys like the back of the head. So I use the top of the ear as my guide for the first section, and then I get my comb and I go in and then follow that guide all throughout the bottom section. I'll do it in like little bits at a time, just so that way I have better control like over the hair and then getting as clean of a section as I possibly can. His hair is kind of like shorter, so it was like, I had to do it like that in order to control it better. So I use my Lock and Twist as my firm hold gel, and that is the first gel that I will use. I use it to part, and then I use the end of my comb that has a little break in it to get clean parts as well. So I put the Lock and Twist all over the section. That's my first gel. It's like a firm hold. So I just use it on the perimeter really. And then I go in with my Shine In Jam. You can use yellow or red. I used yellow on him because like I didn't really need the super strong hold since I already used the Lock and Twist. You divide it into 3 sections, and then you could start with the left side or the right and then just put it under the middle, and then, just keep doing the opposite all the way down. It's like a plait, pretty much. And then I put rubber bands on the end. You don't always have to, but his curl pattern, it was like not super, super tight. So like if they have like a super tight curl pattern, like type 4 A or C, then you don't really have to use a rubber band because it's just going to curl up in place. But I knew his wave pattern was like a little bit looser, so that's why I put the rubber band on to secure it. And then after the bottom section is done, for every other section after that, I start in the front of the head on the left or the right. It doesn't really matter. I think this was the right side. But yeah, I'll like map it out. So like I'll do the first one, and then I'll like kind of estimate where to do the second and third one while I do that, just so that way I can get everything like balanced and proportionate throughout. So, since his hair is like shorter, when I like section the whole head, I'll do it like in like, smaller sections just for better control. So yeah, I did the right side, and then I did the center, and then you continue it over on the left side as well. Clip it up out the way. And then I like to start in the front sides, and like I might do like 1 or 2 on that side and then switch it over to the opposite side, and then I fill in the center. You could just go from like left to right, or you could do it the way that I just said. It just, it's like your preference, but that's what I prefer to do. Because sometimes I feel like if I do it like left to right, I feel like it might take too long. So then I'll just kind of like divide it so I'm not in one place for too long of time. But, do what you feel is right. This is just how I do it. So if you learn something from it, then my job is done. So yeah, now I'm on the other side, and I think I did like 2 on each side, and then I started to fill out the middle. And then you pretty much just do that all the way up. However, in the front, like top sections, I do change it a little bit, and you're about to see why I do that. So yeah, you can see I am on the 3rd row, and we are in the front section. I am going over my part a couple times just to make sure that it is super clean. My clients love when I do their hair, and they say that like the parts are always super clean, and they really like that I take my time on it. So that's another tip for you guys. Take time on your parts. So now that we're in the braiding part, I just kind of braid it so that it's going like into his face, the top front braids, because I think it looks good to just have a little bit of something kind of like to just dangle over the face. And when I do like the taper, you're gonna see how it really pops as well. So that's why I do that. And then now we're on the top section. Finally here, we made it. So I'll just do the middle part all the way down so that way it's nice and easy. And then I will clean it up a little bit more. Clip the other side out of the way. And then I like kind of pre-section the top just to make it go by a little bit faster. I don't put any gel in there yet because I am going to go in and kind of put the other one in just to see if everything is balanced, if the sections are like the same, thickness. Then I'll just go in and kind of like edit it a little bit. So, yep, that looks good to me. So then I went in with my lock and twist on the part and cleaned it up. And the lock and twist is pretty like, it's a firm hold gel. So if you like put it on the part and then comb the hair like on the opposite side, it should stay. So then you don't have to use clips. I meant to say that earlier, guys. I'm sorry. So then you go in and I'll do the middle and then just have the other two like out of the way. And then for the back top, I'll kind of like comb it going back a little bit just to like go with the shape of the head. And then, get that braid in there, put a rubber band on the end. The other side is so easy because you already have your parts in there. So you just mirror it. Same thing I said earlier. And the front two sections, you kind of braid it like so it's on the face, resting on the face. And the braids are done. So now I'm going to go in and do a taper, clip the hair out of the way. I went in with the number 2 guard because, you want to start taking off less hair because you can always take off more. You can't really go back. So that's why I went in with the 1.5 guard, lever all the way open after that. And that brought it to like a really good length. So then I go in and I start my first bald line with a taper with my trimmers. And then I go in with my clipper, no guard, lever all the way open. And then I'm going to close it all the way, hit the bottom line. And then I open the lever like halfway. Now I'm in with my number 1 guard, lever all the way open. And I am going up. And then about halfway through that, I close the lever. And then, debulk that line a little bit. But there is still a line, so after that number 1 guard, what's in between a 1 and the, just a clipper, no guard, is the half. So I go in with the half, lever all the way open first, and then you close it to get that line out. And then here I am cleaning it up with the 1.5 a little bit more. Close the lever, and then the number 1 guard, lever all the way open, and then close it as you need to. Here I am just fading the beard. I'm really good at beard fades and like they're really fast. I like doing it and I feel like I get it like, pretty like gradient blend. Not really any harsh lines or anything like that. Sometimes I see people and I'm like, I feel like that could have been faded a little bit more. So I like to take my time with the beard fades and get it as gradient as possible. And then I am just, while I'm in the area, I just hit the back of that line. Here, I am going in with the number 1 guard, lever. I started open, then I went closed. And now here, I am doing the neck taper. So you go in with your trimmer, you set your first line. So we did the one side, and then we go in and do the other side. And then you go in with the no guard lever all the way open to set your second line. And then in order to take that out, you have to close the lever all the way, hit that bottom line, and then comb it and open the lever up halfway to fully take it out. And it's the same steps as, the front side, just so you could follow along. So the number one guard, we start with the lever open, and then you close it, and you go about like halfway. And then you get your half guard, lever open, hit that line, try to get it out. And then if you need to go halfway, if that doesn't get it out, then you close the lever all the way and then just hit that bottom line. That should pretty much get it out. So as you can see, it's slowly getting like more like gradient, like kind of blending itself out. There I am with the 1.5 guard, lever all the way open again, just bringing it up, just making sure that everything's nice and even. And then I close the lever to take that line out. And then in order to like kind of blend that line out a little bit more, you're going to go with your number one guard, lever all the way open. And you see how that's like smoothing out, like that line is getting blurrier and blurrier. Now we're going to shape up around the ear. So you hold the ear back and you hit the front with the corner of your trimmer blade. And then you fold the ear the opposite way and get around the ear like, on the back with the corner of the blade as well. And I hit the front again just to make sure it's close to perfect as possible. And we tilt the head, and then we kind of go down on like a slight diagonal to clean it up. And then anything excess, you just clean that up. Now we're taking down the mustache. I like to do mine so that way it's low but it's still dark, and I like to keep it thick unless if someone tells me they want me to make it thin, but I think thick looks a lot better. And low and dark on the mustache. And then we are cleaning up the hair on the neck. I don't like to bring it up too high because I hate when you see like a guy and they have like their neckline is brought all the way up to the jaw. Like that's just wrong to me. I don't like it. But anyways, so I'm going in and we are doing the front line. I went in with the 1.5 lever all the way open, and then I close it. It's always safest to work like with longer guards and then go lower. And then I am prepping his hairline with some hairspray and some cool air. And with the hairline, like a trick that I do is I look at it and I kind of visualize how I want it to look before I even go in. So you go in the middle, and then you can go from like left to right, or if they have a weak side, start with the weak side first and then move to the opposite side. So you're just trying to make it as straight as possible. And I might do that like a couple of times just to make sure I can get it as perfect as I possibly can. On the sides, you do angle it up a little bit so that way when you are like just looking at them, just like straight forward, like it's straight. So then we are hitting the vertical bars. And I like to get it as sharp as I can, but still keep it natural so we're not like digging in too much. And then, yep, same thing on the other side. And then I hit the bottom and clean up the C-cup area. So he has a long vertical bar, so I feel like we could have done a high taper too, but he wanted to do a low taper, so I didn't want to overstep, so I just, we went with the low taper. And then here I am just cleaning up the back a little bit more, just a little bit more detail work. Same thing on the sides. After you do your shape up, like it kind of will like make any imperfections like stand out a little bit more, so that's why I went in and detailed again. and then you hit it with the straight razor finish. So if you happen to be a barber or a stylist, braider, watching this video and you have any tips or any recommendations for me, whether it be like products or like techniques, you could just drop that below in the comments. This is like my point of view. This is how I do the service, but I'm always open to learn from, other experts in the industry, and I'm open to constructive criticism. He was a completely different man by the time I finished this service, and he was so happy with it. I loved it. He loved it. Let me know what you think in the comments.